Hey everybody, it's Thanksgiving. And one of the biggest things I'm thankful for this year in 2020 on Thanksgiving is the fact that I'll get a couple hours off where I don't have to go through and read a bunch of YouTube comments about how Biden's coming for our guns. There won't be any gun shows, there won't be any military surplus because Biden's gonna come for our guns. I don't have to sit there and view a bunch of those ridiculous vapid comments for a couple hours today, so I'm pretty excited about that. Now, this video is going to piss a lot of you off, and if it does, you should probably do some self-reflection and figure out why it's pissing you off so incredibly hard. I'm going to give you a brief history lesson, and you can formulate your own opinion based on my observations that I witnessed firsthand, and I was actually part of some of this idealistic brainwashing at one point, but then saw my way out quite a while ago. So, let's get started on how Joe Biden is not going to take your guns, so stop fucking panicking. At this point, yeah, I'll just see how many people quit. Anyway, so we're going to start out with way back in 2008. Some of you were little kids then, some of you were full-grown ass adults, some of you were like me and just turned 18. So the left had been going, like the left, when I say the left, like the Democrats, typically, traditionally in the United States, is the left, right? Had been going absolutely batshit crazy and nuts over the presidency of George W. Bush, for 8 years. And some of it was justified, but it's still the way they acted was just it started to become very divisive. After 9/11, when everybody was united for a short period of time, it was kind of nice. And then shit got real and people started getting very divided and started a lot of infighting, name calling, all that stuff. So in 2008, Obama gets elected, right? And at this point, the right, or the Republicans, will say, the people who follow the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, went absolutely nuts as well. Obama's gonna take our guns, and actually, I don't even think he ran on that platform. His whole big thing was the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, and that was one of the things. I don't even know if he mentioned a lot of gun control. I get to see the debates. I was in basic training at that point when they were really getting closer to the election. I was actually in basic when the election happened, so I didn't get to see a lot of those, but pretty sure he didn't really mention that much about guns or much as confiscation. But nevertheless, that was the first really big time in my lifetime that I saw people panicking, or I heard about it after I got back. And they were still panicking when I was out of basic. So prices skyrocketed, and there were shortages, there was scarcity. Shelves were completely clean. There was stuff flying off of the shelves because people were panicking about something that hadn't even begun to happen yet. So this is where it starts. Now we'll fast forward about a little over 4 years, almost 4 years to the day, but still 4 years after that. All right, Obama threatens to push very vague and watered down gun control at the federal level after the Sandy Hook shooting in 2012, and so this mass hysteria in the gun community, perpetuated by gun owners, ensued. Here it is. It's going to happen this time. Obama's going to take our guns. If I had a penny for every time I heard that, I would be very wealthy, and you probably wouldn't be hearing from me as much because I'd be out doing fun stuff. But I'm just kind of telling you that there's been a pattern, right? Obama's going to take our guns, 2008. Obama's going to take our guns, 2012. And what happened in between there? Nothing. Very interesting. I'm not talking about state level gun legislature. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the federal level, which is what everybody's talking about. Biden's going to take our guns. Well, Biden was the vice president at that point as well, and although he does say dumb shit and he's the gaffe master, didn't really get anything done as far as gun control. I didn't get anything done, period, in his whole political career, but I digress. That'll come into play in a little bit. So 2012 was the worst I had seen it. It was years of scarcity and skyrocketing, or prices were just completely skyrocketed and ridiculous. And oddly enough, no federal gun control came of that incident. Pretty weird, isn't it? Right. So 2016 rolls around. Donald Trump gets elected. Now it's the left's turn to go completely batshit fucking ballistic again. Right, but we're reaching whole new levels of ballistic and just ridiculous at this point in 2016, right? And then the right sort of calms down. Oh, Trump won't fuck with the Second Amendment because he's a Republican. Okay, yeah. And then, they start egging on the left a bit, just like the left was egging on the right during the Obama years and all that stuff. And, you notice a pattern that just kind of does this every 4 to 8 years. Weird enough. They start egging people on and start using terms like snowflake and shit like that. And the left completely loses their mind, goes full communist, and orange man bad, basically, for the past 4 years. We've all seen it and heard it. So you might even be one of those people, orange man bad. So what I found interesting is Donald Trump, a Republican, was able to ban bump stocks. Now you can argue that that's not technically a violation of the Second Amendment, and I don't think it is either. But that's technically more gun control or gun restriction, in a sense, than Obama ever passed, to be honest with you. Which is very interesting, right? Nobody cared about the bump stock ban. I certainly fucking didn't. I never owned one of those because they're dumb, in my opinion. But if you want, I think you should be able to buy one. But I mean, I don't really care about that. I just thought it was interesting how that just kind of nobody really said anything about that. But okay. So now this year, 2020, the year that just keeps on giving, Joe Biden is the presumptive nominee, right? There's a pretty good chance that he's going to end up being inaugurated as the next president of the United States. All you hardcore MAGA hat wearers and Trumpers, it's not over till it's over. I didn't say it was over. I'm just saying he's the presumptive nominee. All roads point to that happening, right? And that it hasn't happened yet. You're right, it hasn't happened. And now it's the right's turn. We're going back. It's only 4 years this time. But we're going back to the right losing their fucking minds, right? Now the left is totally content. Maybe they'll shut up for the next 4 years. That would be kind of nice. But now we've got to deal with the kooks and the idiots on the right, right? So what do? As if there wasn't a shortage enough this year because of all the riots and all the other circumstances that 2020 has given us so graciously. Let's start panic buying because Biden's going to take our guns. AR-15s are super expensive, although they're available. They're super expensive. Ammo is non-existent for 9mm, 45, 223, or 5.56, and various other calibers. 45 long Colt, none of that stuff. No common calibers on the thing, and it's all super overpriced if it is. We're talking $1 a round for steel case 9mm at this point. Not doing it. So they're shit panicking, panic buying. It's ensuing scarcity. And once you know it, the prices are insanely higher than they were. And I forgot to mention, when things went back down during Trump's presidency, they didn't go back down to pre-Obama days. And adjusted for inflation, it was still a lot higher, like for ammo and guns, than it was previously. Every time this happens, the prices go like this, and then they kind of just go back down, but they're still a lot more than what they were. So just remember that. Fear-mongering is at an all-time high right now. It's ridiculous. That's why I see it in the comments all the time, and I tell people to fucking stop. And now I'm going to explain why. So the right begins acting like the snowflake left that they've been calling them for the past 4 years. You're acting the same exact way by shit panicking, fear-mongering. Oh my God, Biden's a king. With one wave of a pen, my guns are going to be gone. They're going to come. The jackbooted Gestapo is going to come in and take my guns. He's threatening all these things, even though he's not being at all consistent, and he changes his view every single day. He's coming for our guns. Get ready. Okay, wow. All right, settle the fuck down. So here's a couple of the morals of this little history lesson right now, if you haven't caught on already to the pattern that is extremely evident. If you allow yourself to be so goddamn politically polarized that you have to resort to fear-mongering and ignorant, just regurgitated, trite, redundant shit just because your party didn't win, you probably need to check yourself out and figure out why the propaganda is so effective on you. That's a really big thing to take a look at. No matter which way you fall on the political spectrum, right? You should probably take into consideration why you're so upset and why you're so scared, okay? Of either scared of Donald Trump because orange man bad, or scared of Biden because, oh, my guns are going to be taken away. Figure that out. And here's the thing, think about this too, consider this. If all you have to live for and talk about and constantly comment, it's in every conversation you do, is politics, you're a pretty sad fucking excuse for a human being, and most likely ignorant as fuck, and just as easily led and divided as all of the sheeple you constantly point out. division is not a good thing. That's more of an enemy to the United States than some guy getting elected for 4 years and saying he's going to do things. Here's the thing. If you're a gun owner, new or experienced, stop with all the goddamn fear-mongering. It really doesn't help. It makes everything worse. I'm viewing my notes here so I stay on topic because I got to get this point across. I don't rant too much. Stop fear-mongering every mention of maybe, possibly introducing gun control. Listen to what Joe Biden's saying. He doesn't even know what he's saying half the time. So why the fuck are you so terrified? Okay, guess what? There's been plenty of other people that have said, we're going to restrict guns. We're going to restrict assault weapons. You know, they're little buzzwords and they're bullshit. It doesn't happen, though. Even with one of the most progressive presidents we've had, you know, the right thinks that the progressives are the ones that are evil, and it's just like the Jedi and the Sith, but it's like he didn't do anything. So, you should probably learn how the government actually works in the United States. Go watch Schoolhouse Rock. They got a couple good episodes if you need to understand what a bill is and how it becomes a law. Okay, somebody waving a pen doesn't happen like that. We're a constitutional republic. We're not a monarchy. We're not a dictatorship. So, what's really interesting too, a little fun fact, is that some of the most draconian gun control in recent years, the Hughes Amendment, the National Firearms Act enhancement, basically, in 1986 under Ronald Reagan. Yeah, that's some of the most draconian shit, and he's like the bastion and the messiah to all these neoconservatives that are just, hardcore Republican, Obama bad, Trump good, this kind of divisive bullshit on the right. Yeah, they're the same people that, you know, created you can't have a machine gun, or you can't manufacture a machine gun and sell it to the general public after 1986, and it's very fucking hard to get one, and they're very expensive. So just a little food for thought of that. My point is both parties are just a different cheek on the same hairy, disgusting ass, okay? You've just been duped into believing that one party is good and the other is evil and your enemy. The biggest enemy to guns and all that stuff are the stupid, brainwashed fuckwads in the gun community. The biggest threat and the worst enemy of the community are those people that I'm just describing to you, very divided. It's not the government, it's not the federal government, it's gun owners that are absolutely not right in their mind. They're so fucking brainwashed by the propaganda that's coming out. That's the biggest threat. If you were actually smart enough to figure this out, you'd be able to comprehend too that 99% of politicians don't even come close to doing at all what they say, for many reasons. One, they don't give a shit. They lie a lot. They're politicians. Two, it's really hard to get something passed, especially at the federal level nowadays, right? Government's inefficient as fuck, which is why anyway, no, staying on track. They just say stupid shit to appease certain groups of people, and they that whine and all that stuff, and they don't really do anything except figure out how to make themselves and their buddies more rich while they're in office, and hopefully they're forever. That's really all they're concerned about. Also consider the Supreme Court of the United States and who's on the who the 9 justices are. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, because you should know how many there are, but who the justices are and what you think would happen if Biden just waved his pen, or Kamala Harris waved her pen if she becomes president because Biden strokes out. Do you honestly think that a case that big, that is that cut and dry with the Second Amendment, isn't going to get immediately shot down as unconstitutional by the Supreme Court? But again, you have to know how the government works. There's checks and balances and all that stuff. And there's just so many legal issues. It's a legal pitfall with that blatant of gun control, right? What they're proposing, they're going to come take our guns. They got to register ARs and assault rifles and all that stuff and stupid shit like that. Yeah, so no, Joe Biden's not coming for your guns. Until something actually passes the House and the Senate, and then the president slaps their signature on it, calm the fuck down and stop with the regurgitated, unoriginal, redundant, and highly speculative fear-mongering. Listen, these are the same type of fuck goofs that are calling for a civil war, right? Like, you have to be insane to actually want that to happen at this point. Okay? But they're also the same ones that would piss, shit, and throw up at the first bullet that goes by them. They'd piss, shit, throw up at the same time, try to run away, and then drop dead of a coronary because they're out of shape and didn't train and they don't actually understand what a war entails. So consider the source when you hear all these people fear-mongering if you're not buying into it yet, right? So, really quick, I'm just going to say relax, because overall, worrying about something that hasn't happened yet and that might not happen and probably won't happen consistently, and stressing yourself out and burning yourself out physically and mentally, is how they actually keep us right where they want us. So stop with the divisive bullshit. Stop with the fear-mongering. Calm the fuck down. I'm not saying you have to submit and just not express your opinion and your opposition to gun control. Obviously, I don't like gun control either. There's a way to go about it, though. Fear-mongering and saying Biden's going to take our guns and just driving the prices up and fucking over the hobby and the stuff for all the gun community solves absolutely nothing, creates shortages, and the government doesn't really care one way or the other. So, relax. If you made it this far in the video, let me know. Comment with A4, made it this far. There's going to be a lot of you that get really, really pissy with me about this, okay? I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not liberal. I'm not conservative. I'm nuanced because I'm a human being. Don't put yourself or others in a fucking box. You're a human being. You're capable of more thought than this football team bullshit divisive mentality. Joe Biden wins. If he becomes the next president, he really doesn't affect your everyday life. You should know who your local and state representatives are, because that actually matters. The federal level, that's a dog and pony show to keep you distracted. That's the magician. You're watching this hand, like 6 hexenammer 666 says. You're watching this hand. This hand's actually doing the trick. That's what this whole thing is. You're supposed to be programmed to be divided and concerned if your party doesn't win at the top. At the top. It's actually not the top. The top is all 3 branches. You're supposed to be so concerned with that you're missing out on all the other shit that's going on, i.e. state gun control that actually gets passed. A little bit of an example. We're bringing it around there. So, anyway, stop with the division. Quit fear-mongering. Stop posting that shit in the comments about, oh, it's this next civil war. Biden's going to take our guns, right? Relax. Don't buy into the propaganda. Don't say shit and do shit and worry and fear-monger like they want you to. They want division. They want fear. Don't give in. That's all I've got. Fuckity bye.